Hello lovely viewers, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful News official YouTube channel, your top destination for the most explosive CBS soap updates. Make sure to smash that subscribe button and give this video a huge thumbs up. It all started in the sterile, dimly lit hospital room where the air was thick with anxiety, remorse, and a father's helpless prayer, for Liam Spencer, who lay unconscious for days after the traumatic events that shook Los Angeles and everyone in his orbit. Bill Spencer, who had always believed that power and money could fix everything, now found himself in a place where neither could help him, waiting for his son to wake up from a coma he indirectly caused. As monitors beeped in steady rhythm and the scent of antiseptic filled the air, Bill's icy confidence melted into tearful vulnerability. He sat by Liam's bedside, whispering apologies no one could hear, haunted by the reality that his choices, his alliance with Sheila, his obsession with control, his relentless manipulation, had led his son to this point. And then, as if on divine cue, Liam's fingers twitched, his eyes fluttered open, and silence took over the room. Bill gasped, clutching his son's hand, voice trembling, "Liam? Son?" And with all the fragility of someone reborn into the flames of suffering, Liam rasped 6 unforgettable words, "Why didn't you protect me, Dad?" That single question shattered Bill's emotional armor and triggered an internal baptism of guilt, regret, and soul-searching that no amount of power had ever provoked before. The weight of those 6 words hit Bill like a tsunami. Tears welled in his eyes as he broke down, sobbing into Liam's shoulder, utterly exposed in his remorse. Ridge, standing silently in the doorway, crossed his arms in judgment, delivering a piercing glare that screamed, "You did this." Katie, holding back her own tears, placed a hand on Bill's back in support, but even she couldn't shield him from the truth that was now consuming him. As Bill tried to justify his past choices, his need to protect, his desperation to outmaneuver threats, Liam interrupted with a hoarse but cutting whisper, "I didn't need a king. I needed a father." And with that, Bill felt a divine reckoning, his own baptism in truth. Encouragement came from the unlikeliest corner. Hope, despite her broken heart and emotional exhaustion, stepped forward and offered a whisper of forgiveness. "It's not too late to be better, Bill, for Liam." But not everyone was so quick to absolve. Steffi arrived like a tempest, her heels clicking like thunder against the linoleum floor, her face a storm of fury and grief. "You want to cry now," she seethed. "You should have cried before you brought Sheila back into our lives. You should have cried before Liam was gunned down trying to protect me." Her voice cracked with anguish as she pointed a trembling finger at Bill's chest. "You did this to him. And I swear on everything, if he doesn't make it, I will never let you see Kelly again." The threat stung more than any boardroom betrayal, and yet Bill didn't argue. He accepted the scorn, the hatred, and the heartbreak, knowing deep down that he deserved every ounce of it. Meanwhile, Taylor, observing from afar, murmured to Ridge, This is the reckoning we've all feared." Ridge nodded solemnly, already crafting a plan to distance Forrester Creations from the Spencer name. Elsewhere, a shaken Finn took Liam's medical chart and retreated into a corner, overwhelmed by the pressure of saving a man whose life seemed to hang in the balance between the sins of his father and the mercy of fate. And just as the tension reached a breaking point, the hospital chapel downstairs filled with candlelight and quiet prayer, as a spontaneous baptism service began, Hope lighting a candle for Liam's second chance, while Katie knelt beside her, whispering her own desperate wish for Bill's redemption. Meanwhile, Wyatt stormed in, red-eyed and livid, yelling at his father, "He needed you, and you let power be your god." The confrontation spilled into the hallway where reporters lurked, and Carter quickly ushered them away, demanding privacy. As night fell and the stars glimmered above the city, Liam's fragile breaths seemed to synchronize with the hopeful prayers floating upward. Bill, back at his son's bedside, wept quietly. "I can't change the past, Liam," he whispered. "But if you let me, I'll earn my way back to being your father." The moment was as raw as it was sacred, a symbolic baptism not just for Liam, but for Bill, now stripped of pride and armed only with the painful truth. And as the days ahead promised more tests, heartbreak, and family reckonings, one truth remained unshakable: Liam's 6 words had changed everything. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for Tuesday, July 15th, reveal that Bill Spencer and Grace Buckingham will strike a shady Liam Spencer deal while John Finnegan and Bridget Forrester get suspicious. Now that Bill knows about Liam's inoperable brain excrescence, he'll be hopeless for a life-saving result. Since Liam is primarily Grace's case, Bill will turn to her for help on Tuesday's B&B occasion and ask if there's any real stopgap for Liam. Grace will admit theirs and present a surgery option, bone. That presumably involves some experimental ways and comes with plenitude of pitfalls. It'll also come with a hefty price label, but Bill will dip into those deep pockets of his and supposedly pay $1 million to give Liam a chance at survival. Grace will feel relieved over the bank account transfer latterly since someone's putatively been hounding her about plutocrat. Can Grace really be trusted since her motives for saving Liam aren't entirely pure? This may be a situation where Grace is facing pitfalls and trying to pay off debt related to Dr. Reese Buckingham. Someone from the medical community may be obliging Grace and trying to use Liam as a lab rat. Anyhow, Grace does feel invested in keeping Liam alive. This parlous surgery could be Liam's stylish stopgap at sticking around for his daughters, so Bill will hope for a positive outgrowth. While Bill nervously awaits the results of Liam's procedure, Finn and Bridget will realize commodity is out. Grace will break protocol with her forthcoming moves, so Bridget and Finn will grow suspicious about what's really going on then. Indeed, Liam himself will feel rather bewildered as he gets rushed into another operation. Grace may promise Liam that it's all going to be okay, but he'll have questions that may not get answered right now. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say the secrets Grace is keeping will unravel sooner or laterly, so we'll bring you updates on all the wild news ahead. The bold and the beautiful exercise videotape spoilers for the week of July 14th to 18th reveals that Liam Spencer will suffer $1 million bone surgery while Nick Marone has an Italy offer for Brooke Logan. B&B's daily exercise videotape kicks off with Nick refusing to let Brooke go down the same old road with Ridge Forrester again. Nick will push Brooke to embrace a fresh launch with him rather, starting with romantic flight together. Brooke will be taken suddenly when Nick asks her to fly to Italy with him as part of their new morning. Although Brooke will presumably need a chance to pound it over, she'll indeed end up going to Italy with Nick latterly this month. In the meantime, Bill Spencer will ask Dr. Grace Buckingham if there's any real stopgap for his son. What if I told you there is? Grace asks Bill in B&B's daily promo. Liam can also be seen on the operating table looking unsettled over what's passing to him. Another clip from the exercise shows John Finnegan and Bridget Forrester agitating how this isn't standard protocol. There'll surely be some enterprises and reservations about what Grace is over to. The daily exercise wraps up with Grace looking at some word on her phone, which confirms that a dollar transfer is complete. Bill would pay anything to help Liam survive, so it looks like he'll force this $1 million, and also Grace may make sure it gets in the hands of whoever seems to be draining her. There's been some talk recently about Grace's ex-husband, Dr. Reese Buckingham, who had serious debt problems. Is Grace dealing with some drama because of her former honey? Could someone connected to Dr. Buckingham be forcing Grace to push an experimental and extremely parlous treatment? Anyhow, it's clear that Grace is hiding some big secrets that'll affect Liam's plot, so we'll bring you updates on all the stunning news to come. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Liam's rearmost surgery will pave the way for indeed further marvels since Bill's going to make some other daring moves. The bold and the beautiful spoilers update for the week of July 14th to 18th reveals that Bill Spencer will make a life-saving Liam Spencer move while Brooke Logan and Taylor Hayes find a reason to make peace. For starters, Sheila Sharp will continue to mourn now that she's been told Luna Nozawa didn't make it. Deacon Sharp's heart will break for Sheila, indeed if he's maybe a bit relieved deep down. Meanwhile, John Finnegan will deal with some complicated passions as he grieves for Luna in his own way. Finn and the others won't realize that Lee Finnegan has supposedly faked Luna's death and put her in caching. Next, B&B spoilers say Liam Spencer will have to go back into surgery, so Grace Buckingham will perform the procedure while Bill anxiously awaits updates. Finn and Bridget Forrester will talk about Liam's idol status and remain impressed with him, especially after everything he's been through with this inoperable brain excrescence. Since Bill supposedly won't accept this terminal excrescence situation, he'll make a stunning move that involves sneaking off with unconscious Liam. Bill's going to break Liam out of the sanitarium and maybe seek a new treatment for him nearly differently. There's surely some experimental protocol that'll be available for the right price, and Billy's got loads of cash to score whatever Liam needs. As for Brooke and Taylor, they'll come together over Liam's fire. It'll be a good memorial that life is too short to spend fighting, so Taylor, Brooke and Ridge Forrester will settle effects down as they stay for further Liam news. Nick Marone will also track Brooke down and let her know he's waiting to make her happy. Ridge is engaged to Taylor, so Nick will do his stylish to help Brooke move on with her life. Still, Taylor and Ridge's commitment isn't as solid as it seems to be. Effects are going to fall piecemeal in the coming occurrences, so some heartache is ahead for Taylor sooner or laterly. Taylor will also have a catch-up session with Donna Logan regarding Liam, Luna, and the Sandhouse mayhem that played out. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say the week of July 14th to 18th will bring some marvels and messy situations, so stay tuned. The sterile silence of the hospital was broken only by the subtle hum of machines and the heavy, suffocating tension pressing down on Bill Spencer's shoulders like a steel beam. His gaze, hollow and desperate, never left the figure lying in the hospital bed, Liam. His son. His legacy. His last chance at redemption. A man who, despite every flaw, had always meant more to him than he dared say aloud. But now, as the monitors beeped steadily with grim monotony, Bill felt helpless, torn between his power and his inability to wield it against death itself. "Is there any hope?" Bill rasped, the words clawing out of his throat like gravel sliding down a steep slope. His voice cracked not from age, but from the weight of impending loss. He was speaking to Dr. Grace Buckingham, who stood calmly at the foot of Liam's bed, too calmly, perhaps. Grace's eyes held something unreadable. Guilt? Calculation? Compassion? A volatile cocktail of all three? She took a breath and offered a measured, professional nod. "What if I told you there is?" Those words, so simple and deceptively hopeful, sliced into Bill's heart like a scalpel. He clung to them, desperate to believe. He didn't ask for the price. He just said, "Do it. Whatever it takes." And whatever it took, it would be $1 million, wired from his personal account without hesitation. A king's ransom to buy his son one more chance at life. Grace, too practiced at masking her emotions, quickly confirmed the transfer on her phone. Relief washed across her face, but it wasn't just medical responsibility she was reacting to. No, there was something more sinister lurking behind her relief. Something personal. Someone had been pressuring her. That much was clear. Whether it was her disgraced ex-husband, Dr. Reese Buckingham, or a more clandestine network of corrupt medical researchers, someone had their claws in Grace. And Liam Spencer, unconscious and vulnerable, had just become a pawn in that dangerous game. Elsewhere, Bridget Forrester stepped out of the elevator and into the ICU wing, her brows knit with concern. She had received an alert about Liam's sudden transfer for emergency surgery, but it didn't match standard procedure. Protocol was being ignored. Files weren't logged. Her instincts as both a doctor and a Forrester kicked into overdrive. She wasn't the only one suspicious. Dr. John Finnegan arrived minutes later, exchanging a long, tense glance with Bridget. "You feel it too?" Bridget asked quietly. Finn nodded. "This isn't how this should be handled. Something's not right with Grace, and I don't think Liam consented to this." Bridget's jaw tightened. "If she's doing an unauthorized experimental procedure, we need to stop her. Or at least find out what she's really after." Meanwhile, inside the OR, Liam stirred, groggy, disoriented, confused. He opened his eyes, squinting under the bright surgical lights. Where? Grace leaned over him, her gloved hand gently touching his forehead. "Shoo. It's okay, Liam. You're going to be fine. Just trust me." But Liam's instincts screamed otherwise. He saw too many unfamiliar faces in the room. Machines blinking red. A clipboard hastily set aside. He wanted to ask questions, to demand answers, but sleep took him before he could even whisper why. In another corner of Los Angeles, Brooke Logan stood in the glow of sunset, looking out at the Forrester estate lawn, lost in thought. She clutched her phone to her chest, having just received news of Liam's risky surgery. Her breath caught in her throat. Not again. Not another family crisis. Not another young man paying the price for the sins of the past. "Brooke," came a familiar voice. She turned to find Nick Marone behind her, looking older, wiser, and as charmingly complicated as ever. "You don't have to go through this alone. Come with me." "To Italy," he said simply. She blinked. "Italy?" "A fresh start," he said. "No Ridge. No drama. Just you and me. Peace." She wanted to say no. She should say no. But Nick had always represented escape from Ridge, from the love triangle that had haunted her life like a ghost she could never exorcise. And as she looked into Nick's eyes, she saw something she hadn't seen in Ridge's for years: certainty. Back at the hospital, Bill paced like a caged lion, watching every nurse who passed with suspicion. He knew what he had done, paid $1 million to a woman who might not deserve an ounce of trust. But what were his options? Sit and wait for his son to die? No. He had chosen action. But what if that action cost Liam his life anyway? Suddenly, Grace appeared. "He's stable," she announced. "But the road ahead is uncertain." Bill grabbed her arm roughly. "Uncertain? You said this could save him." "I said it might," she snapped back. "This procedure isn't FDA approved. It's experimental. And if you want to report me, go ahead. But Liam's alive right now because I took that risk." Bill's nostrils flared. "Is it a risk for him, or for you?" Their eyes locked. Grace's mask slipped, just for a moment. "Fear. Debt. Pressure. You don't know what I'm up against," she whispered. "Then tell me," Bill growled. "Or I'll make it worse for you." Finn and Bridget finally uncovered the missing logs. Grace had manipulated Liam's records, changed his treatment plan without a second doctor's sign-off, and hidden all paperwork under a private protocol buried in international research. Finn looked at the screen, then back at Bridget. "She's using him." Bridget nodded solemnly. "We have to stop this before it goes too far." Meanwhile, another secret simmered across town. Luna Nozawa, presumed dead, wasn't gone at all. Her adoptive mother, Lee Finnegan, had staged Luna's death and smuggled her out of Los Angeles, claiming it was the only way to protect her from Sheila Carter and the fallout from the beach house shooting. Finn, however, unaware of the truth, mourned quietly. He stared at a framed photo of Luna and whispered, "I should have protected you." Deacon Sharp, trying to be strong for a shattered Sheila, stood outside Il Giardino in silent reflection. "Maybe Luna's death saved more lives than we'll ever know," he said to no one in particular. But Sheila wasn't convinced. "No. My granddaughter's alive. I feel it." Back in the hospital, Grace entered Liam's recovery room and found him semi-conscious. He opened his eyes and saw her, just her, and panic overtook him. "What did you do to me?" "Saved you," she said, almost too quickly. He looked past her to see no monitors, no nurses, just silence. He was alone with her. He whispered, "You're hiding something." Grace said nothing, but the tremble in her hand betrayed her. Outside, Finn approached Bill. "I know you want to believe you did the right thing," Finn said calmly, "but this could cost Liam more than his life." Bill turned, voice low with threat. "I don't care about rules. I care about my son. And if you or anyone gets in my way, doctor or not, I will remove you." Bridget appeared behind them. "Grace isn't being honest. And someone's funding this procedure besides you, Bill." Bill paused. "What?" Bridget held up her phone. "We traced the bank trail. That million went somewhere else. Offshore. Linked to accounts tied to Dr. Reese Buckingham." Bill's face went cold. "That son of a..." "It's not just about Liam," Bridget warned. This could destroy you. Your empire. Everything. The storm was brewing. Grace, cornered, alone, and forced into choices by ghosts from her past, was running out of time. Bill, desperate, rich, and dangerous, was ready to do anything, even break Liam out again. Brooke, tempted by a new life, stood at a crossroads. And Liam? Liam was awake, scared, and beginning to remember details he wasn't meant to. Details that could shatter everything. And somewhere far away, Luna Nozawa was still alive, waiting, hidden, and about to return. The baptism had begun. And there would be blood in the water before the week was through.